Insurance isn't one size fits all. That's why drivers have enjoyed Progressive's Name Your Price tool for years now. With the Name Your Price tool, you tell them what you want to pay, and they'll show you options that fit your budget. So whether you're picking out your first policy or just looking for something that works better for you and your family, they make it easy to see your options. Visit Progressive.com. Find a rate that works for you with the Name Your Price tool. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Price and coverage match limited by state law.
Welcome to Heaving Bosoms, the podcast where best friends recap romance novels while entering new worlds and making whiz-bang noises. Hey HBs! This week on Patreon, we're pretty busy. First, I'm giving Sabrina my take on Grim and Valeria's book in this series. It's called Alien Keeper, and all that'll make more sense after you listen to the recap, but just know that our bonus episode will still be in this world. That's this Friday on Patreon and our Apple Podcast subscription. Second, we're doing our monthly live hang on Saturday night at 8 p.m. Eastern. That's Saturday, July 25th at 8 p.m. Eastern. So come play with us if your calendar is open. If you haven't checked it out yet, Patreon is where you can get weekly bonus episodes, these episodes early, ad-free, and all in one shot, live hangs, and more. All right, this week we're continuing a series that Sabrina squeed to me about on Patreon. Here's part 1 of our recap of Alien Scars by Ursa Dax. Hello, Sabrina.
Oh my God, Melody, thank God you're here.
What does that mean?
Listener, I know I commented on it with the By the Horns episode. Maybe I didn't. I can't remember.
Oh, no, you did.
Okay.
You did.
Well,
says the editor.
Yeah. Did you like our little hello to you in the middle of the movie?
I loved it.
Yeah, no, listener, it was real nice when I was running late to recording, and Melody is an angel, so she hasn't tanned my hide over it today. But as I was running in here a little bit late, I was like, oh man, all I gotta do is click a link again.
Yeah, that's right.
I gotta click a link and open an Audacity, and I failed at opening the Audacity, but I did get the link open. I didn't have to make a project or a lot. Oh, I'm so glad to see you, Mel.
I'm so glad to be here.
And look at you. You sound
I sound mostly normal.
Frog.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. Thank you for giving me the time off because, wow, did I need it. Yikes. I'm so excited because you've only told me about these books on Patreon. And so this is the first book I've read in this series. Now, I have capital Q questions that I didn't understand from Patreon quickies. You know what I mean?
Uh-huh.
Not to mention that we did them a while ago, and I didn't super refresh on them. But
yeah,
after
I had
reading
big,
this
bold
book,
plans to re-listen to those episodes. That did not happen. I even had some questions where I was like, I went back to my notes because I was like, what is that? Although, by God, I remember Grim. I love that dude.
Ooh, Grim's great. When he did that little lizard swim in the lake, I was so happy for him, you know?
Well, he's the one that he's the first lizard boy.
Yeah,
right?
I thought so. Yeah.
Yeah, because they ran away. I think he was the
He's a
first
big, giant
boy.
red lizard boy. He's 10 feet tall. Insane.
Now I gotta confirm.
And,
We're not here
okay.
for Grim, but I'm kind of here for Grim. I'm always here for Grim, though, so that's like...
She's Grim Gurlie, as we say. Okay, so we're here for Alien Scars, which is book 16 of the Fated Mates of the Sea Sand Warriors series by Ursa Dax.
Yes.
I have heard about all of these books from Sabrina on Patreon. And so I was not walking in cold. However, I did notice a couple of things about this book that I don't think I would notice if I was 16 books deep. One of those things is that, boy, does Ursa Dax play fast and loose with these hero descriptions. I have no idea what this guy is meant to look like, and as a result, I came up with some nutty business, okay? And I have questions about that, too.
All right. I'm really excited to hear this, because unsurprisingly, every book that you first meet... Okay, so here's the quickest backstory I can possibly give you, listener. Mel, you can come back in, 27 minutes.
Excellent. Can't wait.
Because I had actually started this series, years ago. And it's such a good example of right books, wrong place, wrong time. Right book, wrong time.
Yeah.
Because I started it years ago and I got through the first book and I enjoyed it. I got through the second book. I liked it. And actually, I don't even think I got halfway through the second book. I was just like,
it was early.
I don't think I like this series, and that's really devastating because there's, 14 of them.
Sure.
And all blah, blah, blah. And I was like, I just don't think I like this series, and that's really frustrating.
Well, and you discovered a hard limit, or you thought was a hard limit with this series.
Which one is that? Is it sand baths?
Yes, it is a planet with seemingly no water.
Yeah, it was hard. It was rough.
Sand baths.
Yeah. I was really glad when... they still do
you met
sand
the bitter
baths.
sea.
Well, yeah, they still do sand baths in the sea sand encampment, but it's not as, I don't know.
I think it's just
not as
more easily.
Well, it's not as oftenly described on page anymore.
Sure.
I think I even probably commented on that. But yeah, no, that I was hard to get past. That was a hard limit.
Oh my God, Sabrina, one of the most hilarious conversations of our entire friendship was you having a meltdown at me about no water sand baths and how you discovered a hard limit and you didn't know what to do because you love Ursa Dax and all this stuff.
Well, that's the crazy thing is in theory, this series should be catnip to me, right? It always, every time I'm looking up, because I'll go to the romance, sci-fi and alien romance or the romance subreddits when I'm looking for something, right? And I'll type in an author that I like or et cetera, et cetera. And this series is just, it was constantly being shoved down my throat after I'd already been this is the one fucking series that is a alien series that I'm just not interested in. And then... I don't know what happened. Was it last year, the year before? I guess it would have been the year before, maybe.
Yeah.
I was like, let me give this another shot. And I picked it up again. I reread book 1 or something like that. I reread book 2 and finished it. And then there was no fucking stopping me. All of a sudden, I don't know what it was. It was the
mare was out of the barn, y'all.
Wrong time. And yeah, boy, I really just fucking ate them. So on Patreon, we've done the first 15 books on Patreon, listener, because it was me telling Mel about it. I think there's 4 episodes maybe, and each episode is a quote unquote quickie that is anywhere from 2 or 3 to 4 or 5 books. That's a terrible way to say a range, but it's what it is.
There you go. That's what it is.
The biggest backstory, just to kind of get us to where we are, this is I just am so excited about this, talking about this book on pod, because it just, it makes me want to do a reread of the entire everything. And that is...
It made me want to read everything.
That's wild because they're eyeballs.
I know. Oh, I know.
Are they all eyeballs? Are there any of them in audio?
I don't know. Because this one is not, and I didn't investigate further, but I do want to read all of them.
Oh my goodness. Hey, Ursa Dax, if you need an audiobook narrator.
Oh my God. Melody Carlisle would love to sign up.
What a quality.
I can send you samples.
What a great way to read the whole series is.
Yeah.
Is like that. So if you're interested, it's because it's me just telling Mel about them. They are just unhinged gremlin episodes where it's like, and then this happened. I don't really remember why that happened. But then blah, 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 blah. And then like 10 minutes later, I'm like, oh my God, that's why that thing happened. And it's, there is no rhyme. There is no reason. It is just me excited about a book, basically.
Yeah, super fun.
So in this universe that Ursa Dax has built up, human beings are basically the dumb manifest destiny scientist assholes of the universe. They know just enough to be dangerous. Like they understand space flight enough to get to other worlds and universes and things like that, but not really. It's like if one thing goes wrong, everything is really all of the shit's gonna hit the fan. And so they are on this planet, and it is under the guise of science. So they have a ton of scientists and people with a bunch of specialties and things like that. That like there's I guess there's objectively no neurosurgeons according to this book.
Sure,
but there's like botanists.
A botanist, and
I love that you and I both defaulted to botanist as the first example.
I mean,
but there's botanists, there's, geneticists, there's like all of these different things. And the idea is that they are here for science. We find out not too far into the series that human beings are literally the worst. They're actually here because there's some kind of power source, and, the big military bigwigs are here for this power source. And then we learn
they're
that the
still hardcore motivated by Western colonization. Like, that's just white people are gonna ruin everything, and here we are. Not everybody's white, but like that's the lens we're coming from. Okay,
yeah, they're not, because the heroine in this book is Persian.
Yeah,
she's first gen and Australian because her parents immigrated from Tehran.
I know.
Oh my God, it was real cute. I liked it.
I really liked it.
That. It made me real nostalgic, and I do have it on my shopping list to go get all of the stuff to make my favorite Persian dishes, because I was just feeling real, like, it gave me a lot of feelings, and like
real
the
cozy.
The way she talks about like Persian love poetry and stuff like that, like it
really
beautiful. I had a lot of feelings about this book. It took everything in me not to like make some calls and be like, can you talk to me? But anyway, so they land on this planet. It's for science reasons. They don't realize that there are sentient species on here. And so when they're here just fucking around, it's not long before they find out, because the big monsters on this planet end up like taking over their ship and killing a ton of them. Like I said, one fucking thing goes wrong. And then,
and this is the Sea Sand boys, right? Or
yeah,
are they, so they're kangaroo alien humanoid boys.
Yes, and they have literally never seen water in their life. And there's like 5 tribes, I think, or like 5 groups of them at some point that we learned that there's 5. In the beginning, we only know 3, and it's so good. Like, there's a lot of, this is what, like, the first 6 books is the Sea Sand boys, and then we get introduced to this new type of boy who is a giant lizard boy, and we're like,
giant red lizard.
Not all red. They're all colors.
Not all red. Okay, they're all rainbow
colorfuls.
Lizards. Okay?
Yes, and like when we say giant, I cannot possibly express to you how gigantic I mean.
Big.
Yeah,
big.
Like,
in my humble opinion, I'm so sorry.
Yeah, Melody is on record before today of saying this is too big. Listen, I'm good with this too big because they have magic black venom,
magic
aphrodisiac venom that makes your pussy just go.
Oh,
I don't like that.
Stretch. Probably not. No,
that's fine. As it was leaving, but it really is. It's like it's just anyway. It's fine.
Well,
it's an
but
alien
they're also
romance.
like 10 to 12 feet tall.
Oh yeah,
but
no,
really...
you are quite literally just a handheld pocket pussy for a lizard boy, and you know what? The lizard boy mates are fine with that.
Yep, they are. They, the Vrika knows what they're doing.
Listen, they're just an alien type that it's not a bad idea to have birthing hips for. That's all it means.
I mean, and it's terrifying to me, a person with very pronounced birthing hips, Anyway, so yeah, those are the Bittersea boys. And then at some point we meet the Deep Sky boys.
Well, yeah, so at some point they start moving out of the sea sand area because like the bitter boys are one direction and then they end up for some reason moving in the other direction and they meet more sea sand boys, and while they're arguing with these sea sand boys, all of a sudden purple sea sand boys on flying griffin style creatures come out of nowhere and steal one of the ladies. It turns into a whole thing. It turns out they are the Deep Sky boys and they live in the mountains. They have water. They have, man, if there is a place that I want to be a part of on this planet, I want to be a Deep Sky girly,
for sure. I'm very into the Deep Sky.
Yeah. And so we met them like maybe 3-ish books ago when we meet Gahn Eric, Iraq,
who is a dick, I've heard, who's a real big ass wipe from some people's perspectives.
He really is a big ass wipe, but he's also the one that in his book, when he realizes his mate, he sees his mate in the Lavrika's mate egg, and goes to see the Sea Sand boys at their initial encampment. And he is the one who's like, I'm a great catch. And then it's just on the side of a mountain, like pushing fucking, what's it called? There's a term that I'm thinking of that was going to be really funny, and I don't remember it now. I'm just sitting here making arm movements. It's pumping iron.
Oh, okay.
That's not what it is, but it's the closest thing I could come up with. But anyway, so he's just like lifting up rocks, like, look how strong I am. And there's like everybody just standing on the ground watching, like, what the fuck is that guy doing? Like, come on, dude. But yeah, he is kind of a dick. The Gahns are basically the leaders of each group of boys.
Well, and Sabrina just mentioned the Vrika. And so the other overarching thing on this planet / in all the cultures in different variations is this immortal, godlike creature. And the Sea Sands, it's called the Lavrika.
Well, apparently it's not immortal because it was almost 8 this book.
Well, we don't know that for sure, because we know the Vrika bleeds regardless, right? Because one of the main healing elements of all of this is either getting dunked into a Lavrika menstrual pool, was the overarching joke that happened in the Patreon episodes, because I didn't quite understand what was going on, but like whatever.
Yeah.
And then in the Deep Sky, they literally just like pour Lavrika blood all over you.
That's what they do with all of them, yeah. Well, and there's 3 of them too. So like the Bitter Boys live real far away. The Bitter Sea Boys live real far away on an island.
Yeah.
And they have their own Vrika that you have to like swim underwater to get to. We only see that one very rarely. We don't spend a whole lot of time on that side of the planet. The one we've most seen is the menstrual pond Vrika.
Yes.
The Love Vrika.
Yes. And don't you like see the face of your mate in the menstrual pond?
Yes.
Yes. Okay.
Yes.
So there's that.
And then the Bitter Sea Vrika is a tooth situation. I don't remember exactly how it works, but it's a tooth situation. And then the Mountain Vrika, which is the one that we
bird.
meet,
is a bird dragon ribbon situation.
I imagine it like a Chinese style dragon.
That's what I imagine too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's an egg situation. So, you
have
crack
to break
an egg.
open one of its eggs and then you see the face of your mate in like the yolk ? It's fine.
What if all I could think though is like, what if you break the wrong egg?
Truly. Because I don't know
you
what's
know how
happened.
like when you live on a farm, you grow up on a place where you might end up with fertilized eggs. Like I'm imagining like you
terrifying.
and you accidentally like crack a half-formed chicken in your pan and you're like,
terrifying.
I'm not eating that. I feel really guilty right now.
No. Yeah, I feel terrible.
Yeah.
I've done that. It's horrible.
I have to.
It's horrible.
It's horrifying.
Well, I don't know, Sabrina, what happens in earlier Deep Sky books? Because in this one, the Vrika, like, just rolls the egg straight to the hero and is like, you're gonna open this, bitch. But other guys voluntarily, like, climb up to the nest. Is there only one egg? Or is the Vrika right there to be like, it's this one? Like, shimmying around it or something?
That's a great question for somebody that reads slower than I do and has a better memory.
Fair. Yeah, no, I hear that. Yeah. Yeah, so that's the other overarching thing. And in the past 3 books, what I gathered is that there's been some drama between the 2 Deep Sky tribes that we know about. Gahn Eric and Gahn Thaleo hate each other, and Gahn Thaleo did some tricksy bullshit to get Gahn Eric's like mate wife over and like kidnapped her ?
I was kind of kidding when I said see you in 27 minutes, but this part of the talking about the series is kind of important for this book. So 3 books ago, we meet Gahn Iraq, and he is there's 2 Deep Sky groups. Okay, they both live on separate mountains. They both are having issues with land
procreation
and procreation, but in the first, but it's specifically land. The land that Gahn Thaleo has access to is not enough to feed his people. They're struggling, like that kind of situation. They also are the smallest of all of the tribes, except for the tribe that we meet in like 11 maybe, which is where we learn about like backlocks, which are basically who's going to be the next leader things.
Their fights to see the next Gahn, to figure out the next Gahn.
They were the smallest tribe, but they were also like just fucked. There was no coming back for them, so they kind of get moved into the Sea Sand boys over by the cliffs. Gahn Thaleo's tribe is the second smallest tribe. They no longer have any unmated females. They only have like 10 warriors maybe. And there was this big argument over the humans because basically Gahn Thaleo's like, well, I guess the only way to get more land is to take over the other Sea Sand boy or the other Deep Sky boys. And so he basically manipulates it to where that Gahn's fated mate is kidnapped and captured in his mountain. And unsurprisingly, Iraq is not about it and challenges him
big mad.
He's like, I challenge you to a duel. And then it ends up working out. But the agreement is that the unmated women are going to spend a week at Iraq's and then a week at Thaleo's and then a week at Iraq's and a week at Thaleo's. And I think the funniest thing to me is that it doesn't actually matter because the Vrika's gonna pick who the Vrika's gonna pick. Like,
proximity really doesn't matter.
No, not at all.
Like, I guess the first guy got his Lavrika vision before the humans even landed. So he just saw this literal alien creature in the menstrual pond and was like, are you hallucinating, Lavrika? Like, are you on drugs?
Yeah, like, what is that?
That's a creature I've never seen before.
Well, especially because, like, they don't even really have, like, monkey-like creatures on this planet. So, like, it's the equivalent of us hearing about our fated mate, and it's like, I don't even have an example to.
It's like an Avatar boy or whatever. Yeah.
Not even yeah, I guess so. Yeah, Avatar boy. But like
they've got
weirder.
Like eyes and
weirder because like
weirder,
at least an Avatar boy is like extremely humanoid in the sense of we got the same limbs. You're just at least 3 times as big as I am. No, because the Deep Sky Boys are very much like the Sea Sand Boys. They're just purple instead and not afraid of water. But they got like kangaroo-style feet. They have big tails. They have split tongues. Triple tongues. Yes.
Yeah, they've got triple tongues. Okay, look, here's the deal. Because Ursa Dax was, in not a bad way, a little bit lazy with the descriptions, because at the very least you assume that 16 books in, you're not coming in cold, right?
I figured, yeah, because it's so funny, because I feel like a lot of your questions, you're right, I probably didn't even clock them, just because, like, I'd go, what about that? And then it would trigger a memory, and I'd be like, that's why that is.
But listener, I need you to know the other thing that really wrinkled my brain parts. And that is that it seems as though they use the term eyes and, sight stars?
Sight stars.
Sight stars at the same time. And they're always talking about these things like radiating or spinning or it's like a light show on their sight stars all the time.
So, you know how in IPB with the Kui, you end up with glowing blue eyes, which I very conveniently just whimsy every time I read an IPB.
Never remember that.
It's kind of similar to that, where essentially their eyes are, I don't know, some kind of color, but I don't know what the background color is, but instead of having sclera and pupils, you have stars or what, glowing. Maybe they're not glowing, but
look, man, wait, no, we can't, I can't get any kind of explanation right now because I need you to know what happened in my brain, okay?
I would love to know what happened in your brain.
Between knowing the kangaroo portion might be a factor, and then the descriptions of these things basically being like whiz-bang party favors, like zzz, like the spinning and the radiating and the reflecting. This guy basically ended up being a purple Jar Jar Binks with fur. And
Jar Jar Binks with fur.
With the eyes that are detached from the body, they're their own little things. That's what happened.
Fuck.
Yeah. That's what happened for me.
That's the worst option. Wait, hang on. It's been a while since I've seen a Jar Jar Binks. Hang on. I'm looking up a Jar Jar Binks.
I thought maybe there was a situation where he would have a more humanoid, mouth, nose shape. But it was the eyeball was at the top of a little column on his head and did whiz-bang party favor stuff. Zoom, zoom. Is what happened for me.
And then, now all I can hear is his voice, too, buddy. That's rough. That's not great.
It wasn't great. I mean, did it bother me? Not enough.
I'm not going to lie. Looking at a Jar Jar Binks right now, I think that just from a purely human erotic standpoint, I think he's sexier looking as human as he does, or as alien as he does, because if he had a more humanoid face, I can't do it.
It would be weird.
I can't do it. I can't do that.
Also, for some reason, Oxreal, he's a Sea Sand boy, but he got the same.
Listen, I have so many notes in my notes about how feral I am for his eventual book. When Oxreal's book comes out, he's
such a sweet golden retriever.
I just need to dig a hole because that's all I need, and then I can go lay myself to rest.
Sure, that's fine. And I'm with you. I love Oxreal. However, a couple of times, because he is so goofy, those detached column eyes did move in separate directions. You know, when he gets really excited about things, they started in my brain moving in like prehensile separate directions. And it was wild. So anyway, look, I don't think that's the truth, but between this, and then I also have to say that because we are 16 books in, at least 3 deep for the Deep Sky tribes, there was not, in my humble opinion, enough description of what that anatomy do. Okay? Like, sure, he's
That's
got three
fair.
tongues, and we got some stuff, but also he's apparently got like 2 spurs atop the giant penis. And those made more sense to me, but I didn't get enough descriptions of like it hugging that clit. You know what I mean? Like,
So
that's
I
one of
pretty
my
vividly
biggest.
remember it being described. I feel like this is one of those things where you either have a pussy that works with a genital situation like this, or you don't. You know how like some people are like, clit play does nothing for me, or like some people do penetration does nothing for me. I think you need to have a pretty specific kind of lip situation for this to be nice for you, and all of the humans that ends up with these kinds of boys just happen to have lip situations that work.
Look,
because
the
basically
provides, you know?
Yeah, because basically as they penetrate, from what I understand and the way it was previously at some point described, the 2 little spurs, you know, they're spur boys. If they hit your lips in a way, they end up kind of funneled, they're cartilage, and so they kind of end up funneled in, because like I imagine that in other positions where you don't have a lip situation that allows for this, they'll just kind of end up like on the outside of a lip. Like it's like the rabbit, like whatever, where like if you have to come at it a certain way.
Sure.
And then it kind of cups your clit. And that's kind of what theirs does is, you know, if it gets funneled into the clit, like the lips on either side of your clit, it just kind of gets pushed in place. And then it's that channel as they're going in and out, then it's grinding up on either side.
That
of your
makes
clit,
sense.
basically.
And that's my biggest criticism of the ice planet thing is just like thinking about having my clit punched by a cartilage spur every single time.
I actually prefer this one.
I like the little, you know, the little dilly-dalliance on the outside instead of getting just like karanga right on your clit every time.
Listen, I was never going to say no to a single spur situation, obviously, because
you'll make it work.
Yeah. Also, like, these dudes know how to fuck. But like, show me an alien that doesn't.
Man,
you know,
the story arc in which all of the ice planet barbarians discover the G spot and then start telling each other about it is really, really good stuff.
It's just quality. I mean,
fiction.
It's one of those things where this is part of the reason I was so baffled that I wasn't really into this series, because literally, it was constant. I could not look up a sci-fi alien vibe that I was looking for without this series being just shoved in my face. And it almost turned into that thing where what is it where if you tell me to do the thing, I no longer want to do the thing.
Yes. Yeah.
It was very much that where like I had tried like the first book and a half, and it just wasn't my vibe at the time, clearly. But like it just wasn't my vibe. And like every single time another person, and none of these persons told me specifically, what a fucking Sabrina, you are not the main character. They're not talking to you specifically. It's fine. But every single time they're like, oh man, you should check out the Sea Sand Warlords whatever's by Ursa Dax. I was like, go fuck yourself. How fucking dare you bring that up to me again? You again? Yeah.
Okay, wait. I have another question. Do the kangaroo boys, the sea sand boys, also have the 3 tongues and clit cupping anatomy?
Sea sand boys do. Bitter sea boys do not.
I imagined, they would not. No, the Bitter Sea Boys already have too much going on, okay?
Well, it's also one of those things where, from an evolution standpoint, because this comes up in some of the books and some of some of the heroines in this series are just so fucking smart, and it's so fucking sexy. But, like, they've had a lot of talk about that. Like, from a genetic standpoint, what has happened here, and it's pretty clear, and I just literally got full body chills thinking about this, but there is, in the first, like, 12 books or something like that, this weird, like, back in the ancient history, like, passed down oral story about this god that came to see them and caused immeasurable, like, catastrophic, we're terrified style stuff. And they learn about this in one of the Bitter Boy books, when they are able to translate cave drawings that are so old that nobody has this, like I said, oral tradition. It's not actually. They translate these like cave drawings that tell the story of a god that comes to the planet, wrecks a lot of shit, and then disappears. But when that was happening, like I say, comes and wrecks a lot, but over the course of generations, like causes problems and then just disappears, whatever.
Okay.
And then we find out what happened. And it was basically because it's a separate spin-off series. And it is these like godlike beings that can create portals and jump around these portals, and if they don't find their mate in time, and to be fair, in time is a broad state, like that's a wild statement because it is after literally millennia, several millennia, they go insane without their mate, and it's everybody else's job to basically cull the threat, but one of them is uncullable. And there's only 2 books out in that series. I have read both of them, but it answers the question of what happened. But, you know, thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of years ago, there was a split where the Bitter Sea Boys ended up going across this ocean. And so they have a farther branch, like a longer ago branch point from all of the other boys. So the Sea Sand Boys and the Deep Sky Boys, really not that different. They're just different colors because they live in different areas, and one is more suited to mountains and one is more suited to deserts. And then the Bitter Sea Boys are distinctly a different like species, and it's because, you know, they branched off 200
thousands of years ago,
1,000 years ago instead of 50,000 years ago or something like that, you know?
Sure. Okay.
Can I fix the eye thing for you, though, Melody? Because it is cool.
Well, because here's the other thing. Wait, here's the other thing.
It's not Jar Jar
Sabrina.
Binks eye stalks, okay?
No, it is. It is still that. But then I was like, Melody, this can't be real. This can't be what Ursa Dax is trying to do to you. So I looked up all the covers, and all the covers end at like the neck or the chin.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Ursa Dax, you're not helping a bitch out at all. You're not being a pal with these covers.
Yeah.
Anyway, what? Go ahead. What is it? Please fix it.
So the way that I picture the sight stars and the way that their eyes work is it's a black background. It's like a galaxy. It's like looking at a spiral galaxy that is when they're not focused or anything. It's just kind of like a loose float, like color, because all of their eyes are different colors, the same way that we have different pupil colors, right? And so it's kind of like a spiral galaxy on their eyes. When they get focused, it'll tighten down.
Yeah.
It'll kind of like the way our pupils work, except the pupil is what would be the center of like a Milky Way galaxy kind of thing. And so it's just because they're always moving a little bit, and I just imagine that they're moving like a spiral galaxy would, and it'll get tight, and when they're agitated or like something, so it'll like blow out, and so like that's the movement. But their resting eye, I imagine, like kind of a spinning spiral galaxy essentially, which is better than whatever the fuck you were thinking. That is,
then I guess they don't make whiz-bang noises, huh?
I mean, I'm not going to say that they don't. I can't confirm that they don't. But I'm going to, at the very least, HB headcanon say that there's no sound effect.
Great.
To their eyes doing anything heinous. I'm really upset that
Sabrina,
I'm really upset you mentioned the Jar Jar Binks thing.
Me too. Okay? Me too. What is one to do?
Yeah, so you know how sometimes I make the comment about how like I really wish I could like petri dish someone's brain and like just take a peek inside there and see what's going on from like just watching a movie, but it's their brain and see and understand that. No, not now. Not this time. I'd be okay. That's
10-foot pole, huh?
That's a Melody's box that I'm not interested in opening, you know?
Sure. Yeah, no, I hear that. Okay, look, we're 40 minutes in, and we have to actually start this book.
I mean, to be fair, that was kind of necessary. And also, like, it's a Sea Sand book. It's not super long, you know? It's going to be a lot of just kind of talking about the world. Like, the world building leads to understanding what is happening here.
Mm-hmm.
Because, so we open up, and it is Gahn Thaleo's turn to host the ladies.
Yes. There's 3 ladies left. Fiona, Tilly, and Nasrin.
Yes.
And they are, like, arriving at the mountain, and Nasrin is pissed about it. She's not into this.
Well, because nobody trusts Gahn Thaleo because he's a manipulative piece of shit, which is 100% accurate that he is. Like, from all of our points of view, he is a manipulative piece of shit because he is a manipulative piece of shit.
But, listener, he's a Sebastian.
He is a Sebastian. And I fucking knew it, too. For the minute we met him and he was a fucking nightmare, I was like, oh,
there's...
Oh, he's going to be such a Sebastian. And he is, listener. Also, of context, it's kind of fun reading this book because Fiona and Dalk's book is the last one I told you about. So, like, everything that is happening it's happening in conjunction, like, at the exact same, completely parallel to book 15. And it's really funny reading this
and seeing it from the outside.
Yeah, because Fiona and Dalk were like, man, there's no way anyone's gonna have any idea what's happening with us. And then in this book, Oxriel's like, oh yeah, when she was touching his penis, and everyone's like, what? And he's like, I didn't say anything or tell you anything because that is a secret I was going to keep, that I have kept, in fact.
I have kept.
And they're like, you literally just told us word for word to our face
out
that
loud.
You saw him touching her, saw her touching his
cock.
Like,
what?
And
Never.
Like,
I'm a great secret keeper. No.
And y'all are so sharp.
Right.
And
you're Sherlock Holmes is what you are, Oxriel says.
It's just, dude, Oxriel is just so sweet. And like, we can't get into it, so I'm just gonna say it right now, because if I stop every time Oxriel does something that like delights me, this is gonna be an 18-hour episode.
Yeah.
But, like, there's one point where she's having a chat with him, because you remember how pleasure mates are a thing in IPB? That is, to an extent, a thing in this world. Some people do pleasure mate stuff, but it is way less common in this universe. It really is, like, the dudes and the ladies, because the alien ladies also have Eureka visions. They might fuck around a little bit, but there's no such thing as I end up with feelings. Like, you remember how there's that one thing in IPB where the two ended up mates, and like the parents, right? Not one of the heroes and heroines, but like it's a parent story. And like, even after
the dad had a pleasure mate with one of the other warriors, and so they sort of became a throuple. I remember that one.
No. There's a book where the guy has big old fucking trauma as far as mate bonds and stuff is concerned, because it was either his mate mom or mate dad had a pleasure mate, and then when they became mates because of Cooey stuff, she never let go of her pleasure mate because she was herself in love with him. Or it was vice versa. Like, he was in love with her. And so the other mated partner just ended up, like, dying because the one refused to
that's right.
do the mate bond.
Yeah.
Because they were in love with their pleasure mate kind of thing.
Yeah.
That's just not really a thing in this book. Like, in this
and that's
world.
One of Nasrin's issues is like, am I the architect of my destiny, or am I just expected to like go along with this alien Chinese dragon decision that I have no part in, you know?
Which is like such a common refrain in an alien series, and that's fair. But I love the way that Oxriel talks about it. So we will talk about that when we get there, because he brings up some good points, you know, like there's like they both have good points, and it was very bluntly stated in a way that I really enjoyed. But it was, so I guess we will talk about that when we get there.
Well, yeah, regardless. Okay. So Nasrin shows up, and when they show up, it's like the night before what's called a Vaclock, which is basically like all of the warriors showing off and competing, doing a little tournament thing for, you know, street cred and muscles and stuff.
Yeah, look how strong I am. I would be such a quality mate.
And so when it happens, like they're all sitting in the stands, if you will, and Nasrin and everybody else has noticed that when she's in the room, Gahn Thaleo's eyes are on her and only her, and there's no distracting him.
Melody, I cannot express to you how intense this is, because this has been built. We have known since the minute we met Gahn Thaleo that he
3 books ago.
Intense about Nasrin. Like, because like there's a lot of commentary about like, man, do you see him like staring at you? And she's like, can we just not acknowledge this? Please, dude.
Please?
Like,
can we just be kind of cool about this? Because he has no chill whatsoever.
I will also say something that's been really interesting that Ursa Dax does very well is every book is written very differently, because this book is of the ones that I can remember explicitly. And I did actually go pick up some of the old ones, or the other ones I've read, just to be like, am I misremembering this? This one is very, very prosy and lyrical in a way that some of the others aren't. And I think it's because both of these people are very head people. They're not
definitely
out of their body right? Like they're a lot in their heads in a way that some of the other people aren't.
For sure.
I bet Oxreel's book is his points of view not gonna be like that, you know.
No.
But it is very much like other books. Even if one of them is real heady, it'll be like from their point of view, it feels heady when you're reading it, but then when you read the other person's point of view, it's real physical aspect of everything. But this one is very prosy lyrical in a way that the others aren't. I very much enjoyed it, but I was definitely not expecting it.
Oh, okay. Yeah. No, that makes sense. So as they're sitting in the stands, Gahn Thaleo comes over and sits right next to her. And she's like, okay, this is weird. And she's like, hey, aren't you competing? And he's like, no, of course not, because I am the Gahn. And everyone knows that the Gahn is definitely always the strongest, most ferocious of the whole tribe, and so there's no point in me competing, essentially. This is for my warriors to prove themselves.
Embarrassing everybody.
Yeah.
Which, basically, like, to be fair, the Vaclocks are very much bitter sky coated, because it is embarrassing for the Sea Sand boys. Like, it is, they do not do well in this,
Deep
except
sky?
for like...
Or bitter sea?
I meant Sea Sand, actually, because Dalk is...
You said Sea Sand, but you said it's bitter sky coated. I don't know what that means.
I meant deep sky coated.
Oh,
Flappy
okay.
Boy. You know what? We're no longer talking... It's Flappy Boys, it's Sea Sand Boys, and it's Lizard Boys. Boys.
Yep. That's how it happened in the Patreon
But, like,
episodes.
it's already shown that, like, boy, the Sea Sand Boys, because it's Dalk's point of view, like, Dalk loses his ponytail to one of the Flappy friends at one point.
That's right.
Yeah, like, and, we see it from his point of view in his book, and he is pissed.
I mean, I don't blame him. Yeah, that Flappy Boy just chomps his ponytail right off and eats it.
Yeah, we see it on this page, but like, or like on page in this book, but it's definitely from their point of view now instead of, the hero of his book. But he literally makes the decision in his head. He's like, well, but like, can I go sit next to her? Should I sit next to, you know what? Fuck this. I'm the Gahn. I sit where I want. And then almost has a heart attack as he's walking over to sit next to her. And meanwhile, in her head, she's like, I feel like, oh God, I don't know what vibes this guy is giving off.
I don't know
he
what's
is all
going
over
on.
the fucking, yeah.
Okay, so really quickly, Gahn Thaleo's like overview backstory. His whole deal is that he does not want anything. In this universe, the Gahns, or at least in this tribe specifically, the Gahns are public servants. Like if you're looking at the difference between a politician and a public servant, they're public servants to the nth degree. And so Gahn Thaleo's whole thing is, I'm not allowed to want anything specifically because my wants and needs need to serve the tribe.
Well, and he has been described, he has a very, very distinct look, and it's because he has a scar on his face, which all of the aliens very rarely have scars because the Vrika blood is so powerful that the only way you're going to end up with a scar is if you don't get healed with blood in time. And he has a scar down his face that causes part of his hair to go wet. Like he has a white lock of hair because of it.
From his hairline to his chin.
And one of his eyes, his sight stars are muted and slow. And like the first chapter in his point of view, we learn why. It's because when he was a kid, his uncle, who was the Gahn before him, slashed him down the face and said, "You will be gone, and when you are gone, you will disappear. There will be no hunger but your people's hunger. There will be no pain but that which your people feel. You have no wants, no needs. There is nothing but the tribe. You are nothing but your tribe." And so from childhood.
Well, yeah, and then he looks at him and he says, "Are you bleeding? Do you feel pain?" And he says, "No, Gahn, I don't." Yeah. And then for the next, like, weeks and weeks and weeks, this 8-year-old just suffered in silence while this huge gash down his face healed.
Yeah.
This was so wild. And from his perspective, he really looks at this as a life lesson and not an incident of horrific child abuse. Yeah. He's like, no, Gahn Thaleo, his uncle. Also, I think this happened like right after both of his parents died.
So we find out when she finds out about the scar, she finds out because he doesn't think anything of this, right? Like this is just, he even says at one point, he's like, "I am grateful to my uncle for doing this because it means that I am capable of being what my people need me to be," essentially, which in some ways, everything he does, all of his manipulations, all of this is trying to take care of his people. But boy, howdy, dude, like, it's rough.
And we find out when she does that this happens after he asks his uncle to hold him
after his parents die.
Because he misses his parents.
It was literally like the day of their funeral.
And like,
hey, if you want a not Devil of Winter example of a Sebastian, great example of just a truly horrific parent situation when you are very young, or like family life that leads you to be kind of an asshole.
Yeah, and it manifests very differently, right? Like this is not a Devil in Winter kind of character.
No.
Although he is all about the service to his tribe and other people and all of that, he is completely locked down. The way that not having any wants or needs or desires or anything like that has translated into his physical presence is that he's just a lockbox. There are no emotions. There's nothing that translates to the outside world.
He takes the worst cave. He'll go without food. He is just a physical embodiment of his tribe.
And listener, in case you were as confused or like curious as I was, Gahn is Gahn. So just to let you know, because I remember listening to you talk about it and being like, Gahn what? Like Gahn where?
Yeah.
But yeah, it's Gahn for the title. So anyway.
Yes.
Yeah, so he sits down next to her and she tries to like kind of have a conversation with him, but it's also kind of impossible. And what does he say to her? Does he say anything specific to her this time that is notable? Other than like, "I'll sit where I want." I feel like he says something like that.
I don't have any quotes about it, but it's basically like she's surprised that he's sitting there. And he's like, "Well, why wouldn't I sit here?" And she's like, "Well, but why would you sit here?"
Sure.
And he's like, "Is this just where I'm sitting?"
Yep.
Because he can't, because like he hasn't just locked it down in a way that like I'm not going to show people. He has locked it down. Like this is the most emotionally and mentally stunted, maybe not mentally, but like emotionally stunted man. He has no idea what is happening in his brain and his body right now.
Yeah.
Because he is wanting something enough that it is leaking out of this locked box. And he's
can't
like,
tamp it down.
Oh my God, I'm not a plumber. I don't know what to do here.
Yeah.
Like,
absolutely.
oh God. So he is.
And so he's also
fumbling.
feeling guilty about all of this at the same time.
Yeah. So during the tack lock, it's like at the end of it or something like that. But there was this whole scene where Fiona and Dalk were in this valley or whatever, and she ends up going in that valley alone, and he follows her, and she like piddles around
for her
in some
safety, Sabrina. For her safety,
Listen,
is
I'm
really
not
the only reason that he would ever
that he
do that.
followed her. I am on record for I love a fucking weird stalker weirdo who doesn't know his own brain.
Same here.
Listen, we are like, that is unsurprising here at HVHQ that we're like, yes, give us the emotionally stunted main character. We love it. But she's piddling around in there, and she's like, oh, the water's cold, and then keeps flapping around in it with her hands. And he's just sitting there like, why would you keep touching the water? But then she gets out and she's like, oh, my hands are cold. And his first unhinged moment is he's like, my cock could warn them. And then he's like, what are you doing, bro? Whoa. And then he's like, he ends up holding her hands.
Yeah. And he just reaches out and he cradles her tiny little mitt in his gigantic paws. Okay. And she is so surprised that they're so warm. They're like hot. And because he's so locked down, she imagines that he would be really cold in every way, but he's not. Listener.
No.
Physically, he's just on fire for her. Okay.
And it's this really important moment because it's really the first time that they have actually talked. And this is when she's like, I don't like people who lie. I don't trust you. And he's like, okay. Because he is just so...
He also says, do I offend you? And she says, yeah, actually, kind of. Yeah, you do, because you're a liar and you did some weird shit when we first came here, and like, I don't like it. And he's like, okay.
And then in the same day, Dalk ends up leaving because his uncle is dying. That's its whole thing from his book. But he fucks off, and she's like, I need to go be with Fiona because she needs a friend. And Thaleo is like, friend? And she's like, yeah, a friend. Like, have you never had a friend before? And he's like, no, I haven't.
Yeah, I haven't.
And he's like, okay, well, there are people who can be your friend here. And she's like, oh, are you offering me friendship? Because she is just baffled by this whole conversation. And he's like, no, I'm not. And she says, because you don't have friends? And he says, because I offend you. He said with something close to softness, but not quite. His sight stars intent upon my face, and I would never make you an offer that was so deeply unworthy of you. Like, he doesn't understand the concept of friend, because friend is something that people have, not embodiment of tribes have. And so he's like, I'm saying that, like, there are people in the tribe that can be your friend, my people here that you seem to get along with.
Yeah. Well, and not to mention that, like, there are so many times, and this is one of them also, although she doesn't say it specifically in this way, but, like, she thinks that he's kind of putting her off or putting her down, or, like, he's too good for her or whatever. And instead, what she ends up figuring out after he explains himself is that he doesn't think that he's even worthy of being in the category to make an offer like this. You know, like, he already clarified with her that she doesn't like him. He offends her. So, of course, he wouldn't put himself upon her like that.
Well, and there's also this aspect of when we're in his head, he is struggling because part of the problem is he wants to be her, like something to her, but he has spent the last 25 years not letting himself want. And so if he wants something more than he can shove it down, this is an automatic sign that this is not a good thing, because if he wants it, there's no way it can be good for tribe.
Yeah, absolutely. That night when they part, he says, Good night, Nasrin, from behind me, to you and your friends. And then he walks away. Gahn Thaleo.
It was one of those things, too, where, like, man, you and I just read so much romance. And so, like, every time he was on page and just such a dick for the last 3 books, I was like, I was feral. I was feral coming into this book for his book. You know what I mean? Yeah. And so, like, every time he was just such a, it's just, we love a sad, broken boy here at HBHQ. And I have been primed and I was not disappointed for how much of a sad, broken boy this man is.
Yeah.
So there's this side thing that we're not going to get super into the details of, but it is important for the very end of the book. There is a burrowing monster that they find out about. And so now there are a lot of patrols happening.
Yeah.
To keep an eye on its movement.
Right. Because the understanding of this monster from their perspective is that it basically can go deep underground and hibernate for a really long time. And so every once in a while, there are stories of this Borog coming up and wreaking havoc on the land and the people and all the things. And the last time they saw one of these was when Gahn Thaleo's uncle, died because he ended up being the one to do the killing blow on the underside of this thing and in the one vulnerable part of its anatomy. He's the one that puts the knife up there. And its blood
is acid.
Yeah. And so when it showers down upon the person who does that, it basically burns their whole body up.
And that's only if its gigantic multi-ton body doesn't crush you to death.
That's
which is
exactly
actually
the one.
The preferable way to die, really.
I would think. Yeah. Yeah, and so when they did this last time, Thaleo managed to drag Sirik out from under this monster, and they tried to heal him by dousing him with some Vrika blood, but he was just way too far gone. And with his dying breath out of his sizzling, barely formed mouth, he named Thaleo as the next Gahn. And even then, Thaleo didn't think he was worthy enough, so he scheduled a backlock, which is, one of those let's compete to see who's the strongest and the best to become the leader. So even then, he competed in that to become the Gahn. But yeah, the last memory they have is from when he was basically 18 and this Borog took out the chief of their tribe.
Well, and a bunch of them. It seems like this is why his tribe is fucked right. That was the vibe I got, is that last time the Borog was in town, it just obliterated half the people, and they've never recovered in the last 20 years.
Yeah, that was my understanding too, for sure. Yeah. Yeah, so now they're because they go out on flying patrols on their Flappy Boys. So they've seen evidence of the burrowing of it coming up and then coming up in other places. So they're doing lots of patrols and they're trying to figure out is the Borog coming toward their mountain or if it's going away.
Well, and it's also not moving like a Borog typically does. And so they're are there 2 of them? Golly, we really just can't deal with this right now.
No, it's a mess, yeah. And then meanwhile, Nasrin is hanging out with the people of the tribe, very specifically one of the little girls and her mom. They hang out together and they're the best.
Did you love them? Wanda and Vonda?
Yeah, it's the best. So she's hanging out with them.
Well, and she keeps learning these little bits about him that is making her go, it's nothing that he does, to be clear. There's nothing that he does that softens her up, because if you want to look at what he does in bad faith, it's very easy to do. He is easy to villainize. But it's seeing that in conjunction with hearing about how he still called for a leader test thingamabob. Right. All of the sacrifice that he does. And she's like, okay, there's a lot more here than meets the eye.
Well, especially when he was so tender with her, when he held and warmed up her hands. And that was completely incongruent with how she had seen his actions up until that point. And then the fact that he doesn't think that, like, he wouldn't even offer himself up as a friend because he doesn't feel like he's good enough for that he offends her, right? So it's all of these things coming together that she's like, what is this guy's deal?
Well,
especially because he won't look away from me if I am at all in his physical presence.
Well, and like, listen, the friend thing, that is literally the next quote that is extremely important and very eye-opening as far as what is happening in his head. And this is from her point of view. He shows up and he's escorting her back to the sewing room, essentially, because he keeps escorting her places and doing things and around a lot. And she's like, you don't have to take the time to do this kind of stuff. I know you don't want to be my friend. And immediately that leaves her mouth and she's like, I am a fucking
I'm
child.
such a dumbass. God.
That is the fucking stupid. And he's like, and you know this, how?
I never said that. Yeah.
And she says, because you don't have friends, because of what you said last night. And he says, I do not recall ever telling you that I did not want such a thing. And she says, okay, you're telling me that you do want to be my friend after all then? And he says, I did not say that either. And she says, then what the hell do you want, Thaleo? Because, like, in her head, she's like, what are these stupid riddles, okay? And he looks at her and he says, Nasrin. He said my name like it was a crushing stone he didn't know how to move off of his chest. I try very hard not to want anything at all. And she's like, oh boy, that's a lot to unpack. It explains a lot, but also that's a lot to unpack, buddy.
Right.
Which, fair. And oh my God. And we're about to start kind of hopping into this whole thing from her big conflict in this book is that she believes love is a choice. Love is something that you wake up every single day and choose. And it's because
recommit to.
And her parents were so deeply, madly in love. We just keep seeing snippets of it. And there's this, this is real fucking emotional. And it hit me real hard in the, like, right in the soft spots. Because she's talking, at one point they're explaining what a broken heart is to some of the Sea Sand boys or something like that. And in her mind, she's thinking about all of this and she thinks to herself, after my mother died when I was in high school, Baba stopped writing poetry. He stopped reading it too and took a long sabbatical from the university position where he'd taught Persian literature all my life. I'd asked him once if he'd stopped writing because his heart was broken. It's not broken, Hoshgalam, he said. My heart is gone.
Yeah.
And so she grew up with two parents that loved each other beyond doubt. And it was not something that happened to them. It is a choice that they made to commit to one another.
Yeah.
And she's always had unsuccessful attempts at love, like romantic love in her life, because she has this standard that everybody...
Kind of a high bar.
Yeah. And she was just not willing to compromise on it. And nobody ever lived up to it for her.
And she's had a conversation with Gahn Thaleo. Well, she's heard from other people as well that, like, he will only do what the Vrika tells him to because that is sort of the law of the land. And it's the best thing for the tribe as far as procreation is concerned. It's like the Vrika's messages are sacred and they are to be followed always. Oh. And her thing is like, none of these men will choose me. They're just saddled with me. Like some unearthly fucking being tells them, and then they just automatically have like feelings for me, ? It's really weird
and
for
something that without reading the other books, you're not necessarily going to understand just how intense the aliens are about this. But the first, the way that we meet the Flappy families in the mountains is because of an exiled dude. And like not just a dude, Gahn Arak's brother is exiled because he refused to follow the call of the Vrika. And he is now like masked and an exile that just wanders the land. And that's how we meet the Deep Sky Boys. Yeah, he has like a skull mask when we meet him. And it's because that's your punishment. You are exiled. You are dead.
Oh.
And he is like, that's fair. Like, he doesn't even question the exile. Like, in his book, he's like, yeah, no, I deserve this. It's just, I also chose this. Like,
so he has a book?
The brother that was exiled? Yeah, he's how we meet the Deep Sky Boys.
Oh.
Yeah, it's like book 12 or something.
Really, really quick question. Is it because he like refuses to go up to the nest to see who his person is?
The Vrika has called to him, and in his book there are so many scenes where like the Vrika like shows up like doing his little sky slither like, hey buddy, and he's like, in the book he's like, all right lady, get on the fucking Brack Silk, we gotta go. And she's like, why are we leaving right now? You're injured right now. And he's like, yeah, but that like fate bitch is right on my goddamn tail. So, like, I gotta go. And if you don't want to come, that's fine, but you will die. Like,
right. Okay, got it.
And so, like, you're not necessarily gonna get that context, but she brings this up to Thaleo in this book and is like, well, how do you feel about that? And he's like, yeah, that makes total sense.
That's exactly. And he's mad about it, too, because Gahn Thaleo is like such a douchebag. You know what I mean? He hates this guy so much. And he's so mad that he's like, in this one case, I have to say out loud that I agree with that rat bastard.
God, Arak really is like, and his book is no different. Like, he is obnoxious. I loved his book. I loved him. He's very funny now that I've read his book, but like, golly. He's just a real piece of work, man.
Yeah, he's really mad about it. Well, and so the next thing that, like, the next, like, really meaningful thing that happens between them is that he keeps on offering to, like, show her stuff and take her places because he just wants to be around her. So one of these times is they're in the sewing room with the little girls. They're teaching them, like, how to make new clothes. And she finds out about these basically, like, silkworms. I don't remember what they're called. Spinners, thank you. And the little girls have not been able to go and see them because you have to be really quiet and really docile. Because if these spinners get spooked at all, they leave like a toxic, grossness
covering
on the thread that they spin. And so you can't use it anymore for textiles. And what these people do is they go down into the caves, and whatever like big giant spinner rooms have been abandoned, whatever ones they're not used anymore, they collect all of that and make this beautiful silky fabric out of it, which she makes into underoos. And it's pretty nice.
She
pretty
makes
sexy.
silky underoos for sure.
Little underwears.
Very, very important to me.
Yes.
Before he takes her to see the spinners, because that is about to be here, because he does take her on a little adventure.
Ooh.
Before then, though, we get to meet my favorite character in possibly the entire series, and it's going to be very on brand because it is a crotchety old person. And by God, there's nothing I love more in my life than a crotchety old person.
Linnet. I love Linnet.
Linnet is iconic in every way. She literally, so they also have these sheep. They're like, I think they're called Brolka or something like that. Mm-hmm. They're like basically gray dandelions with colorful eyes. And she is the shepherd of them. And so when they go out to see the sheepies, they walk up and this old deep sky lady comes out of this cave and is like, who goes there? And Arton, who's taking them over there, her grandson is like, it's me, Arton. And she's like, what, boy? You think that just because you haven't come to see me since the day you informed me of Zarya's pregnancy that I've forgotten your face? And he's like, I'm sorry, Grandma. You asked who it is that's coming. And she's like, obviously I meant these people. And she's like swinging her shepherd staff around. Oxrill's like ducking. Everyone's like, and they're like explaining it, and she's looking at them, and then she looks at the Sea Sand boys who are their protectors, basically, and
their
follow
bodyguards.
the ladies around, and she looks at them and she's like, and what about these odd looking louts? And Oxriel, beautiful sweet baby angel, is like, Oxriel and Zoran of the Sea Sands at your service. And she goes, bah, save your tail raising for Gahn Thaleo. I'm long past the age where some scoundrel lifting his tail to me sets my heart a-fluttering. I'll have none of that nonsense here. What do you want? And they're like, we're just here to see the sheep. And then Linnet, her name is Linnet, says, so the Gahn's favorite wants to see the Broca, does she? And then they're like, the Gahn's what? And she says, the Gahn's favorite. Your ears no good, new woman? And then we meet her fucking Flappy Boy. And she's like,
the
my
Flappy
Breck
Boy
Silk.
also comes out of the cave.
She's like, my Breck Silk, Linnet. She's also named Linnet? Did you name her after yourself? Of course I did, Linnet said. And why shouldn't I? Mine's as good a name as any other. And Fiona's just like, fucking
I'm obsessed
iconic.
with her.
And literally, I have a million other quotes from her that I will not read because she is just...
Linnet's the best.
God, she's fucking funny.
I love her so much.
So while they're at the Broca, she's made this little friend, and he's on his way back from a scouting mission for the Balrog, and notices the new women over near the sheepies and stops to hang out for a second. And they have this like back and forth for a minute where this is when she asks him, like, what would you do if one of your people chose, like, the new women, we don't have the mate bond. The Vrika has no control over our feelings. So what happens if they choose somebody that the mate bond chooses differently? And he's thinking about it, and he agrees. He's like, unfortunately, Iraq is right, and I would do the same thing, but it just doesn't happen. You're asking questions about something that has literally never happened, ever. Like, this isn't a thing.
And he's also thinking, every time she asks like a hypothetical, he puts her in that place, and he's like, well, like in his inside, he's like, well, I wouldn't give you to anyone else. Oh, no. Wait, no. Well, that's not what a Gahn would say at all. Fuck.
He's jealous as fuck because he's like, well, have you already chosen somebody else? Because it suddenly, he's like...
Somebody else is what he says. He doesn't say, have you chosen someone? He says,
also clocked that? Because Nasrin does not clock that. But, like, I was like...
Come on, girl.
And she's like, what? No, nothing like that. But, like, say, even, like, we're just talking hypothetical. Say someone got, like, what would you do in that situation? And in his head, he thinks, the answer that rose up inside me shocked me because my first instinct was not to do everything in my power to make her accept the mate bond as I had always been trained, as I had always thought I would. No, my first instinct was to honor her and to keep her for myself. A hateful thought. One I immediately recoiled. And she says, would I be the one exiled then? No, I answered at once, a vehement growl. The very notion made something twist torturously inside me. A bleak and hopeless sort of certainty pressed down on me then. Certainty that if I did exile her, I would simply end up going with her. That I would renounce the title of Gahn and follow her into the endless deep sky. Abandon my own people.
And they'd be wearing masks.
Boy, he got a lot of angst. And...
He's so conflicted,
with a spoon.
Shoveling it.
Spoon.
Shoveling it into my brain. Absolutely.
Yeah.
So then after all of this, he ends up after like a dinner or something being like, what are you up to? Do you have time to maybe go see some spinners? And she's like, what? And she's thinking to herself, like, I don't have anything else I can say that would be like, yeah, I have something to do, but also I don't want to do that. And that's weird because we're not friends. He doesn't want to be my friend. But anyway, she ends up like saying, yeah, sure, let's go. And as they walk down, there are lanterns.
This is when she learns about the uncle.
Yeah. And the way that he got scarred. And because she's had questions, because like she's seen what Vrika blood does, and there's really only one explanation as to why he would have such a horrific scar. And it's because the whole tribe chose to let him suffer for months on end instead of just healing him, right? And that's tough to like square, you know? So yeah, this is when she learns about the uncle, and she is just devastated for him. And they're sort of like walking down, you know, into this labyrinth of caves inside the mountain. And for a while, there are lanterns that the tribe has put up just for them because the ladies can't see as well in the dark. But then it gets to the point where it's like dark, 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 because the spinners are really sensitive to light. And so they can't do anything to accommodate the ladies. They just got to figure it out. And as she's walking, it's super, super dark. She almost walks into a stalagmite, and he ends up stopping her. And then he's got like one hand on her shoulder, and he's holding her other hand so that he can guide her through all of the obstacles, you know?
And then we have their first kiss, listener. And it is
my goodness,
intense. They see the spinners. There's some like real intense chat back and forth, and he is just so intrigued by her. And she hugs him at one point, and she realizes this is the first time he's been touched in decades.
Yeah.
And like felt a connection.
Well, because when she finds out about the uncle, and the reason that he did it is because he asked him to hold him, she just immediately goes in for a hug. And she's pressing herself, and she's pressing like her ear against his chest and hugging him so tight, and he doesn't know what to do. And he's like, what are you doing? And she says, I'm just holding you. And the spinners are all around. And then as she looks up, this is when the first kiss happens. And it goes from 0 to dry humping in
against
like
the cave wall.
0.3 seconds. Yeah.
And then a spinner interrupts them by landing on her nose, and they're both like, whoop, that should not have happened. And from his point of view, he's like, that shouldn't have happened because I was out of control, and this is for me, not for my people. And she's like, this is out of control because I can't fall in love with a stone wall.
Yeah, absolutely. And somebody who might not be emotionally like available enough to choose her, even if he was given the opportunity.
Yeah.
But she does go back to her bunk and furiously masturbate. I mean,
furious masturbation.
Wowee.
Listen.
Wow.
She plays acoustic, and it's time. It's time for a concert because like she cannot stop thinking about this man. So he's kind of disappeared because he was out scouting for the next like couple of days. So he's kind of been AWOL. Like she hasn't really seen him.
Yeah, and that's fucked. I know he doesn't mean to, but she's understandably like, I need to debrief with him a little bit at the very least. I need to like make sure we're cool, ? But also, is he safe? Is he okay? Because she knows about the Borog at this point. Yeah. And so he's like gone all day. He doesn't even show up to meals. That's where we're going to stop for today. We'll be back tomorrow with the second half of this alien romance. Heaving Bosoms is produced by us, Melody Carlisle and Sabrina Bradley. Editing is done by me, Melody Carlisle. Our theme music is by the incredible singer-songwriter Brittany Fonts, and our art is by the ultra-talented author Kate Pryor. If you like our show, remember to follow us on your favorite podcast app, rate us 5 stars, and leave a review. That one small action is a huge way to help the show. If you want to get in touch with us for advertising inquiries or anything else, you can email us at heavingbosomspodcast@gmail.com. If you want more of us, visit patreon.com/heavingbosomspodcast. You can also find us on Instagram at Heaving Bosoms, on TikTok at Heaving_Bosoms, and in our Facebook group, the Heaving Bosoms Geriatric Friendship Cult. See you tomorrow.